Hello and welcome to the 8th of our mini sessions on worship, replacing the planned worship roadshows. My name is Nicola and I'm the Children and Youth Development Officer for the Eastern Synod of the United Reformed Church. This session is entitled Engaging with the Bible in All Age Worship. When we explore and engage with the Bible in all age worship, we don't do that in a vacuum, and a big part is that we know and understand our context. Ali Barrett, in her book Preaching with All Ages, says, "It's a bit like planning to lead an expedition, but rather than taking account of the terrain, climate and physical fitness of the group, we are considering the scripture and the journey that we're going to take." Lindsay spoke last week in her session about following the lectionary. How often, as someone planning an all-age service, do we look at the lectionary and think, "I can't do that, it's too difficult"? I hope this session will encourage you to look at things in a new and creative way, to connect with Scripture across all the ages. The lectionary offers us a choice of readings for each Sunday, and prayerfully looking at the readings and noticing key themes and words helps us with the planning. This is particularly helpful for an all-age service, and it is always good to settle with one theme that will underpin everything that you do. As the expedition leader, it's not our job to keep people on a straight path from A to B, but to help them be on a journey of discovery that you have already begun. In the session, An Introduction to All Age Worship, I spoke of a fishing analogy: hook, line and sinker. What is your hook? How are you going to get everyone engaged through your introduction to theme and gathering players? It can be a simple picture or object, but it draws everyone in. The line. Consider the main point that will ebb and flow through the service. How this will be developed. How will you unpack the message through songs, prayers, reading and creative ideas? In this session, I want to concentrate on the line and the Bible. And finally, what will everyone take home in their net? What will they be thinking about and reminded of in the week ahead? The importance in the early planning stages of any worship is prayer and reflection on the Bible readings. For all age worship, I would recommend just one reading, and then perhaps linking to the psalm or one of the other readings in a more creative and reflective way. More on this later. The important thing is, in that one reading, is that the focus is on one key theme, and that will be flowing through everything that you do. All age worship flows so much better when each part reflects the theme, making it more accessible for everyone. As Lindsay spoke about in the last session, it's not about simplifying things, but keeping the theme underlying everything. When training on all age worship, the one question I'm asked more than any other is, which Bible translation should I choose? This is not something that has a simple answer, as there are many things to consider. Bible Gateway offers us the opportunity to look at a number of translations of a passage very simply on the computer. I would suggest read the reading from the translation you're most familiar with, and then compare that to others, remembering the context of your worship and that there will be possibly people present from the ages of 0 to 100. Which translation offers the most accessible language? Will everyone be able to understand? Are there words that may be challenging? Bible translations can be both a gift and a problem. The meaning of word changes from one generation to the next, and meaning is influenced by culture, background and other details. Don't feel constrained to use the Bible that is in the church pews. If young children are reading, the New International Children's Bible is a good choice, as the sentences are shorter, making it simpler for a child to read, whilst it remains close to the original text. More modern translations, such as the Contemporary English Version, the Message, or the Passion Translation, can often be helpful for all age worship. But often the Good News Bible, which I remember so well as a child, offers just the right choice. There are a wealth of children's versions of the Bible available, using the New International Translation, the New Living Translation, and the New International Children's Bible. It's easy to be confused, as many come with the same translation but are put together in a way to target a specific age range. There are many Bibles which offer a range of selected stories in the context of all-age worship. Here are my two favourites. The Jesus Storybook Bible by Sally Lloyd-Jones. Beautifully written with wonderful illustrations that all ages can enjoy. These stories are also available on DVD if you wanted to watch and listen. The other Bible at the top of my list is the Storyteller Bible by Bob Hartman, which has 70 stories especially written for reading aloud and works well in all-age worship. Having this same Bible reading read in two ways will help everyone to engage with the reading and can be read in different parts of the service. The two versions, perhaps from a storybook and the Bible, can open our minds and our ears to other ways of hearing the reading. There are many books written with individual Bible stories. The Lost Sheep series has excellent illustrations that are fun and can be downloaded as a PowerPoint ready to accompany the story. These books have a page giving a suggestion for a way into the story and a gentle reflection for the end of the story. There are lots of stories available, familiar Bible stories and stories for Easter and Christmas. The Good Book Company have some excellent stories that are again well illustrated and also have PowerPoint presentations that you can download to accompany them. I often choose to read a children's story, as we all like a good story. And many of the children's stories written have a moral value that links well to the Bible readings. Next time you're in a bookshop, visit the children's section. It's where I always head and I'm never disappointed. Just to name one or two of my favourites. The Lion Who Wanted to Love is a brilliant accompaniment to Love Your Neighbour. The Giraffe Who Could Not Dance, thinking about who God made us to be. And the Emma Dodd series, written for younger children, speaks so well of God's love for us. Godly play is an excellent way to engage with the Bible in a reflective way and not restricted to any specific age group. Everyone can engage with it in their own way and are encouraged to reflect with wondering questions. It's a storytelling method that invites the listeners to come into the story space, welcoming people to the story that you're about to tell. The scene is then set by wondering about where the story takes place and wondering what might be inside the story box. The story is told with objects and figures, or sometimes images. The simpler the better, and without facial expressions to allow the listener to wonder for themselves. The story is told simply moving the objects throughout the story. The pace is much slower and the tone gentle, making the focus of the story unfolding rather than the storyteller themselves. At the end of the story, wondering questions are asked. I wonder which part you liked best. I wonder where you would be in the story. I wonder if I could have left anything out. I wonder how the disciples, Jesus, Abraham, were feeling. It's good then to leave space for reflection in silence, in prayer, in an art response, or in play. Objects appearing out of bags and boxes to accompany an exploration of the Bible reading can help to engage even the youngest child and are often enjoyed by the adults too. The element of surprise and the unknown create a sense of wonder, especially if preceded by, I wonder what's in the box. The items inside can act as visual prompts to reflect on parts of the story, or can contain items to help tell the story itself. Bob Hartman's stories often encourage participation with suggested actions or sounds. If you use the Roots materials, they have ways into the Bible story each week with a simplified reading and suggestions for engaging with the story as it's being read. Pausing to hear a sound effect can be very effective. For example, feet running on gravel or pigs grunting in The Prodigal Son. Wind and waves in the calming of the storm. Earthquake, wind and fire as Elijah is in the cave. All help to engage our senses whilst we listen. Images to accompany the Bible reading can help to tell the story as it is read. This works particularly well with the Psalms. The images reflect the words and help us to understand in different ways. Playing music softly in the background can help create stillness. Where understanding of the written word can be difficult, the images hold our attention. To conclude, I quote from Henri Nouwen. Keep a space where God can let something totally new take place. In engaging with the Bible in all age worship, we should allow space and reflection. Be prepared to go on a journey. It is God's Spirit who guides our thinking and direction, and who is leading the expedition.